Police searched John Sweeney's prison cell years after his arrest. What they found wasn't a weapon, it was a drawing. A woman with no head, her body cut into pieces, and the most disturbing part, 2 of his real victims were found exactly like this. Their heads were never recovered. The media called him the Merseyside scalp hunter. In the early 2000s, one face appeared again and again on the front pages of Britain's newspapers: John Sweeney. Born in Kirkdale, Liverpool in 1956, he grew up in the Skelmersdale area, raised by his mother. He trained as a carpenter and a joiner, and in 1976 he married a woman named Anne Bramley. They had 2 children and tried to build a life together, but the marriage was troubled and violent and led to their divorce in 1979. But then 2 years later they remarried, and again it did not last. Anne later went to the police and reported that Sweeney had threatened her. In a separate incident, Sweeney was arrested for breach of the peace after Anne found him hiding in a wardrobe with an axe waiting for her. She quickly relocated to an undisclosed location and divorced him again. By the mid-1980s, John Sweeney had left Merseyside and moved to London. Whilst living in London, Sweeney met Melissa Halstead. She was an American model who had moved to the UK in 1986. About a year into their relationship, Sweeney had been charged at least once for domestic violence against her. He was convicted and fined, and soon the pair relocated to Austria. Once they arrived in Vienna, Sweeney became violent once again and was arrested for attacking Melissa with a claw hammer, causing her serious head injuries. Despite this, she bailed him out of prison. The violence continued, and in an attempt to escape him, she ran away again, this time to Amsterdam. Once more, Sweeney followed her, and by 1990 they were living together again. Then shortly after, Melissa vanished. Her sister was unable to make contact with Melissa, so she contacted the police, and after making inquiries, the trail soon went cold. In April 1990, Sweeney transported her dismembered body in a duffel bag from Amsterdam to Rotterdam. Soon after, a dismembered female body was pulled from the Westersingle Canal. The spine had been sawn through, and the body folded and forced into a bag. The head and hands were missing. With no identifying features, the victim remained unknown. By this time, Sweeney had already fled back to the UK, where he began another relationship, which also turned abusive. Before we go any further, if stories like this matter to you, subscribing helps keep them from being forgotten. In 1991, John Sweeney met Delia Barmer. She was a nurse at the Royal Free Hospital in London. They met by chance at the Hawley Arms pub in Camden. At first, Sweeney seemed charming. He spoke about travelling around Europe. He told her he worked on construction sites in Germany. The relationship moved quickly. They soon moved in together. It wasn't long before the violence began. Sweeney started to hit Delia. He sexually assaulted her in degrading ways. He controlled her movements. He called her constantly. Friends and family were becoming concerned. One day, Delia discovered a green bag hidden amongst his belongings. Inside was masking tape, gloves, rope, a saw, and a plastic sheet. She later described it as a body disposal kit. She believed it was meant for her. Delia reported Sweeney to the police, and he was quickly arrested. For some reason, very quickly they released him on bail. He returned and forced his way into her home. He tied her to the bed, held her at gunpoint, and kept her hostage for 4 days. During that time, he appeared to confess to killing Melissa Halstead and 2 other men in Amsterdam. When he finally left, Delia escaped and ran straight to the police. Sweeney was arrested and quickly released again. On the 22nd of December 1994, Delia Barmer finished her last nursing shift before Christmas. She was heading home, but had no idea that John Sweeney was waiting for her. He attacked her with an axe. During the brutal attack, he severed one of her fingers and stabbed her repeatedly. He left her with catastrophic injuries. Delia came within minutes of death. She only survived because a neighbour intervened, battering Sweeney with a baseball bat and forcing him to flee. Delia spent months in hospital. Her life was permanently changed, and John Sweeney had once again vanished into thin air. For 7 years, Sweeney lived under false names. Paula Fields was his next unsuspecting victim. She was a 31-year-old single mother from Liverpool who was living in London. She was a vulnerable adult who was addicted to crack cocaine. Sweeney became aware of these vulnerabilities and began a relationship with her. In December 2000, Paula vanished. She was missing until February 2001. 2 boys were playing near Regent's Canal, Camden, when they found 6 holdalls. What they discovered was horrifying. Inside were human remains. Paula Fields had been cut into pieces, wrapped in bin liners and dumped. Once again, her head and hands were missing. Sweeney was arrested 4 weeks later and was convicted of the attempted murder of Delia Barmer after she testified against him. After serving many years in prison due to the advancement of DNA technology, in 2011, Sweeney was found guilty of the murders of Melissa Halstead and Paula Fields. Judge Mr. Justice Saunders called the crimes terrible and wicked. He said the mutilation revealed the cold-blooded nature of the killer and caused immeasurable pain to the families. He received 4 life sentences. Neither Melissa Halstead's nor Paula Fields' heads have ever been found. Delia Barmer believes this was deliberate, just another form of control. Only he knows where they are, and he has never disclosed that information. John Sweeney is now serving life in prison. He will never be released. The silence he left behind still echoes in the canals, in the families, and in the failures that allowed him to keep killing. We'll keep telling the stories if you keep listening.